Councilmember Archie.
Here.
Councilmember Max.
Here.
Councilmember Miles.
Here.
Councilmember Zajac.
Here.
Council Chairperson Pierre.
Here. Brian, would you please lead us in the pledge and invocation?
Let's stand. City Council's opening prayer. O God, Father of us all, we humbly beseech Thee in Thy wisdom and knowledge to guide and direct the deliberations of this council along the path of truth, justice, and righteousness, so that what it decides for the welfare of our citizens may also redound to Thy greater honor and glory. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, for our first item and item number 3, we're going to have a presentation. Can you hear this okay? Is it not working at all? All right. How's that?
Liz, do we need it?
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for our first presentation, for our presentation tonight, we have a business plan presented by Paws of Niagara. The Paws in the Falls Animal Complex Incorporated. Okay, do we have our speaker? Would you?
Say- Okay. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for allowing us to present to the council and to the residents of Niagara Falls. Next slide, please. Paws in the Falls Animal Complex Incorporated is situated at 2070 Cayuga Drive, Niagara Falls, New York, 14304. It is a nonprofit organization established with a mission to offer a secure, nurturing haven for rescued and public animals of Niagara County. Our facility spans 3.3 acres of grassland within Niagara County, housed in an 11,000 square foot building with provisions for future expansion. To ensure the safety and the welfare of our dogs under our care, the facility will be equipped with a generator to address unforeseen power outages. Additionally, we will install a live camera feed for comprehensive surveillance across all areas, enhancing safety measures for both dogs and staff. Scheduled to open in August of 2024, our facility will fully comply with the upcoming New York State Companion Animal Care Act, effective December 2025. Next slide, please. Our commitment is to provide, maintain, and operate a safe shelter for seized dogs with plans to extend services to cats. Ensuring compliance with Article 7 of New York State Agriculture and Market Laws, we anticipate community engagement focused on compassionate animal welfare through educational programs, awareness campaigns, and discounted clinic services such as spay, neuters, rabies vaccinations, routine immunizations, promoting responsible pet ownership, and reinforcing animal welfare principles. Our staff will comprise of 2 licensed veterinary technicians who are registered within New York State and possess over 20 years of combined experience with ongoing professional development in veterinary medicine from accredited institutions such as the AVMA, American Veterinary Medical Association, and the AAHA, which is the American Animal Hospital Association. In addition, we have secured our own dedicated DCO, or Animal Control Officer, to ensure prompt response and secure unattended dogs in areas lacking the service. We are excited to introduce our certified animal trainer with extensive expertise, holding multiple New York State certifications and boasting over 24 years of invaluable experience. The president of Paws in the Falls Animal Complex, Inc. brings over 24 years of real estate and business ownership experience, collaborating with various dog rescue organizations. With our team's credentials, Paws in the Falls Animal Complex, Inc. is committed to making the best choices for the dogs entrusted in our care in Niagara Falls. The vice president, myself, also as the shelter director, has collaborated with various animal rescues in Western New York. I graduated with honors from Trocaire College with degrees in surgical technology, veterinary technology with a bachelor's in science from Medaille University. I am able to bring experience from emergency veterinary medicine and general practice animal hospitals since 2019, continuing to enrich my skills and increase knowledge within the field. Our staff and board members that I have chosen to align with have a plethora of knowledge from corporate VP, veterinary medicine, to human resources and grant writing. These individuals understand the vision and the mission of the facility. Not only are they animal lovers, but they are best at what they do. Next slide, please. Our mission is Paws in the Falls community promises to create a nurturing environment where each animal receives the love, attention, medical care that they need to thrive. Next slide, please. We are committed to transparency and accountability in all aspects of our animal care. This includes working collaboratively with New York State Department Ags and Market, adhering to New York State Animal Welfare Act and companion animal care standards, and partnering with New York State Animal Protection Federation. Through those collaborations, we strive to continuously improve the well-being of our animals that are entrusted in our care. Next slide. We are proud to partner with leading animal welfare organizations, including shown here. Through these collaborations, we gain the access to valuable expertise, resources that allow us to provide the highest of care for animals in our shelter. These partnerships ensure we stay up to date on best practices, enhance staff training, and ultimately create a more positive and enriching environment for the animals entrusted to us. Next slide. What Niagara Falls residents can expect from our facility. Transparency. We have real-time access. We're committed to transparency. You will soon be able to see and view live footage from our facility anytime, including nights, holidays, and through a secure system we're developing. We are also partnering with education. We're working with New York State Animal Protection Federation to ensure that we meet the upcoming standards of 2025 animal welfare requirements. This means that you can be confident with our facility to hold the highest standards. Education and training, community focused. We're going to have educational training materials on animal welfare that will be available to both the staff and the public. We'll utilize resources from Maddie's Fund, which is also Maddie's University, Best Friends Network, OSHA, and others to ensure comprehensive knowledge. Our community outreach. So we are ensuring that the lost and found community served. We're committed to reuniting lost pets and helping strays. Our facility will be designed to benefit both animals and the community. Second chances. Partnering with a local veteran group will provide dogs with the opportunity to become service animals, offering them a new purpose. Additional services, on-site convenience. We will have an on-site groomer for your furry friends for pampering needs. Giving back. We will have employment and volunteer opportunities that will be available to the community members who share our passion in animal welfare. Vet care. We are thrilled to announce a partnership with a local veterinary hospital to provide crucial medical care for the community's lost and stray animals. This collaboration ensures that the lost pets receive comprehensive exams, stray animals that are spayed and neutered and vaccinated against rabies. This not only improves the well-being of these animals, but it also helps reduce the overpopulation and the potential for future issues. By focusing on transparency, education, community outreach, our additional services, we aim to become a trusted resource for Niagara Falls residents and their pets. Next slide. Niagara Falls Animal Shelter faces a critical challenge, an overwhelming influx of lost and stray dogs. The current vendors simply cannot accommodate the surge, leaving many dogs left in the streets. DCOs have limited availability, struggling to respond to all calls for help. This situation demands a multi-pronged approach. We must prioritize dog welfare alongside cost-effective solutions that benefit both the shelter and the community. While cost is a factor, prioritizing cost-effective solutions shouldn't come at the expense of dog welfare. By working together, we can find creative solutions that address overcrowding and ensure the well-being of Niagara Falls Canine's population. By taking a decisive action, we can create a more sustainable future for Niagara Falls dogs and the community as a whole. We believe a new feline-focused program currently, there is no trap or neuter release program in place to address the overpopulation issue. This means cats are suffering on the streets. This solution would not cost the Niagara Falls taxpayers. Not only would it be financially responsible, but it would also have a significant positive impact on the community. With more felines than humans in Niagara Falls, a program specifically designed to address the feline population is not just needed, it's essential. Niagara Falls, we hear you. Lost and stray animals are a concern, especially heading into the summer months. We're here to be a part of the solution. Our new facility will provide a safe haven for lost pets and work towards reducing the local cat population through responsible practices. Together, we can make a difference for the Niagara Falls animals. We are enthusiastic about introducing our facility and services to address the urgent need for a permanent shelter for lost and stray dogs in the community. We eagerly anticipate initiating discussions and fostering mutual beneficial partnerships with Niagara Canine. Thank you.
Just no, item number 2. Are there any speakers on item?
I do have a speaker. It's Speaker Vincent Cawley, but he didn't say what item. he was
Item
speaking
number
on.
2? Or,
I have no one to speak on item.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, what, okay, yeah, okay.
What was the result of,
It was withdrawn.
okay,
Agenda.
gotcha, thank you. Great, thank you. Illustrious council, good to be before you. Vincent Cawley, born and raised right here in Niagara Falls. Just wanted to speak on agenda item number 6, not really speak on it, just really ask questions. So, you know, we have the history of this park, 1916, 1960s. You know, we have an article, you know, saying it's, you know, the rise and demise of Porter Park since 2016. I know we have a small parks budget. So the question I have is there a plan for the park? I mean, I know there are a lot of secret meetings that go on. Was a plan ever presented to the council by the administration, or do we know, was there a plan back in 2016 or back in 1996 that they were going to have this park developed as something? Because if I'm from out of town and I'm visiting Niagara Falls and I'm staying at a hotel and I look over there and I see, wow, that park looks like a great park to read a book, to get outside and enjoy the fresh air, to just chill and relax outside instead of being in a hotel room. I think that park would be a good idea for the city to keep up and to build up, like our Hyde Park and like all of our other pocket parks. So, and I know we have a small park budget, so the question would be, I mean, was this park part of that budget for all these years and nothing has been done? These are just questions. I won't be before you long, but these are just the questions that maybe you guys have more information than we do, because I'm just curious about, is there a plan, or was there ever a plan to maintain the park, to build the park up, or do we want to give more of our land to foreign or to outside businesses? Because haven't we ran into that enough of giving land to people who don't live in the city, don't deal with the city? And there's no offense to the Rupel Corporation. I'm sure they are lovely, swell. This is not about them at all. It's just about what are we doing with our property as a city, as a municipality, as a community, instead of giving more land away, or maybe they'll buy it, whatever. But you understand the point. Why can't we develop our own land and do something with it and make the city that much more greener, that much more better, and show the people that we care about our own land? Thank you.
Okay, administrative updates. I'd like to make a small comment here on some of the comments that all during the week. I know this is a part-time job, but sometimes it's not really a part-time job for some of us. But all week I've been getting comments about Mr. Du Bois being part of the council, not part of the council. Although he's technically not part of our city council as being voted in, he is an integral part of this organization. And, you know, I can attest to he could probably attest to the fact that since the first of the year, I probably meet with him more than 2-3 times a week, or probably 2-3 times a day since the first part of the year. I'm here almost every single day. Liz, would you say I'm here almost every day? And even last night, I was here meeting with him in the afternoon, and 7 o'clock last night, I was calling him on the phone, asking him for advice. It's his role to bring to my attention items so that we operate within the city charter, and that we operate within legal boundaries. I spent over 20 years as an executive for a Fortune 500 company, and one of the things that I've learned over the years is that you have to depend on people with their expertise, and I want to thank Mr. Du Bois for being that person in this organization. Tom, do you have anything to add to that? I thank you, by the way, for all the. I just want to thank you for all the time you spent with me over the past couple months.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I want to just explain my role here each council meeting, and basically my primary objective is to make sure that the meeting runs smoothly and according to the city charter. The city charter was last enacted in 2018. It is a local law that was filed with the Secretary of State of the state of New York. Had it not been filed with the Secretary of State in 2018, it would not be the governing document of the city. It requires filing with the state. It's not enough that the council in 2018 approved it. It's actually filed with the state and recorded as a local law of the state of New York. So it carries the weight of law. And it's purposeful that the Secretary of State wants those things filed in Albany so that it does carry the force of law. Another interesting thing about our charter is that it adopts Robert's Rules of Order as the parliamentary rules of order for the council. There is a provision that says the council can adopt its own rules to replace Roberts. In the absence of the council adopting its own rules, Roberts' rules apply. Since the city council, current and past, going back all the way to 1985, never adopted parliamentary rules, the only conclusion that can be reached by myself and my predecessors is that Robert's rules applies to council meetings. And that will be the way it is until such time as this council may choose to replace Robert's rules with another complete body of parliamentary rules. You have that option at your hands, but until that happens, it's Robert's rules. I too got some calls from a couple citizens who thought that my interruption of the council member's speech at the last meeting because of the 10 minutes had run caught him and the citizens off guard. I can understand the citizens not being familiar with that 10-minute rule, but since January 1st, I have prepared scripted meeting minutes for the council members and the administrative staff, and tonight is the 12th edition of those scripted meeting minutes. In every one of them, going back to January 1st, it does point out that when it comes to debate, each council member is limited to 10 minutes. So the average member of the public isn't aware of that Roberts rule and wasn't privy to the scripted agendas that are made available to the council members, but it has been publicized by myself, communicated to the council through the scripted agenda since January 1st. I would like to now turn to two more items during my administrative update. The second thing I want to address is action item 2, which was the Pinnacle property action item, has been withdrawn by the administration. And the reason for that is Pinnacle, that was at Pinnacle's request. They want to continue doing their planning work, and they hope to return to a future council meeting to request action. But tonight there will be no action taken on item 2. It is withdrawn. The third item that I want to address is that I was advised by the chairperson after his consultation with the council members that the regular meeting, this council's next regular meeting scheduled for June 19th, is going to be canceled out of respect for the Juneteenth festivities that will be occurring throughout the day, into the afternoon, and into the early evening on June 19th. And I've been informed that the alternate date will be held by special meeting. The city charter grants the chairperson the ability to call a special meeting. The charter also states that any 3 members of the council can call a special meeting. So it's not just the mayor who can call special meetings under our city charter. And the chairperson has indicated that he will be calling a special meeting for Thursday, June 20th, the day after Juneteenth. We'll make sure that the charter requirements are met in terms of publishing and publicizing that in the Gazette and elsewhere. And stay tuned for more on that. There will be notifications in the Gazette regarding the special meeting on Thursday, June 20th, and that is in lieu of June 19th. So no one will be here on the 19th. Thank you.
Chair.
Just kind of go back because, of course, I know the statement about the interruption had to do with me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. So, because I know we're talking about Robert Rules of Order, we're talking about the city charter. the majority body of the council at the beginning of the year on the 1st made a vote for a chairman. Now, I heard you mention that you're in charge of making sure that the meeting runs smooth, but from my knowledge, he's in charge of that. And he's,
You're correct.
am I correct?
On that point, and that's why
Okay.
when I speak, I'm giving directions to the chairperson, because it's the chairperson's role to enforce the rules. But you've seen it before. For example, a public speaker will run over their 5 minutes. You've heard me and or
The clerk speak up and say your time is run. So we do assist the chairperson with enforcing the rules and make sure that everyone is on an equal footing with time to speak. If the time is 5 minutes, we enforce that rule, and for better or worse, when the time limit is 10 minutes, I have to speak up to make sure that that gets enforced as well. Otherwise, we would not be complying with Robert's rules.
And I think that's exactly what I said, I rely on the expertise, because all the stuff I talk about, I don't know, and the one thing I've learned as an executive is that I'm not going to repeat the off for 4 years, and I'm not going to argue with someone who has a degree and has passed the bar. If they advise me something, I'm going to listen to what they have to say.
Okay, so I got a kind of a pickup on that question because I want to make sure that I get clarity if we're going to be making sure that we're going by the book. So, in the event that I'm speaking on anything, whether it's a debate or whatnot, is it not our city attorney, let's say, position to interrupt me in the midst of me having a conversation with my colleagues because of something that you may think that, and especially if it doesn't have anything to do with legal, because I think that's one of the biggest issues that I've had up here, because I got interrupted multiple times on situations.
You'd have to give me an example of when I interrupted you for something that wasn't a legal matter.
Okay, well, I'll go back and rewind the tape and we can probably play it.
Okay.
Because it's been often. But
All right.
like I said, but at the end of the
I will certainly
day,
address any concerns you have. This is the first time hearing about it, so I'd like to have that
well,
conversation with
I had to
you.
cut you off a couple of times to tell you to don't cut me off while I was talking to my colleagues, and it wasn't even a 10-minute conversation.
Except that in the instance that I'm talking about at the last meeting, when you went over 10 minutes, I have to be able to give advice to the chairperson. And I politely said I need to interrupt you, and I had difficulty communicating because you were talking over me and saying that I did not have the right to speak or interrupt you. And that prohibits me from giving legal advice. I have to be able to speak to the chairperson, and that's not just for me. If you're speaking and a council member wants to object to what you've said, and they say something like, I have a point of order, or Mr. Chairperson, they're allowed to interrupt you. You have to stop and wait for them to say what they need to say to the chairperson, and then the chairperson can make a decision.
Outside of the 10-minute rule, let's just I just want to be clear. So outside of the 10-minute rule, it's not your position. Like if any one of us is talking, but I'll speak for me. Outside of that 10-minute rule, is it not your place to interrupt if it has nothing to do with legal? If I'm not speaking on anything that's going to cause us legal issues, and I'm speaking on something that could be a possibility in regards to agenda or whatever the case is, please don't cut me off. I'm going to finish. And then once and if you cut me off in the middle of that, I think that's a point of order. I think now if he cuts me off, he's the chairman, and also he's not my superior. He's my equal. So we're all.
Of the meeting.
Okay, give him that. I want that on record.
To your point about, if you're talking about something that doesn't involve a legal issue, I'm sure that you and I may reach disagreements about when you're speaking about a legal issue or not. I'll give you for example, all right? And I'm not saying that you've done this. I'm just saying that there are other reasons that I might need to interrupt someone during a debate. For example, and what I'm doing right now, Mr. Miles, is I'm reading from the scripted agenda that I prepared since January. I actually have the January 1st example, and it has a note here. It says, "A note about debates. If by chance a council member signals opposition to a motion, the chair must first recognize the movement or one of the resolution sponsors as the first speaker. Note also that Robert's rules provide all the rules governing how debates must be conducted and specifies that the chair is responsible for enforcement. For example, each speech can be no longer than 10 minutes in length." And there's a citation which I won't read. "Each speaker has a right to speak no more than twice on the same question on the same day, but cannot make a second speech on the same question so long as any member who has not yet spoken on the question desires the floor. Debate must be confined to the merits of the pending question. Speaker must address the remarks to the chair and maintain a courteous tone." So, as a hypothetical, if someone during the debate did not address the remarks to the chair, they would be violating Robert's rules. If it came to my attention, if I was attentive enough to spot it, it's my obligation to interrupt and advise the chairperson of the rule violation so that he can make a decision on it. If someone doesn't maintain a courteous tone and the chairperson lets it pass, it's my job to call it to his attention and to interrupt in that case and say, "Mr. Chairperson, Robert's Rules has a rule on courteous tone and it may have been broken." So those are legal reasons that would require me to give legal advice. That is not exhaustive. These were just some examples that I clipped out of Robert's Rules on January 1st to create guideposts for us as we go forward. There may be other situations where I become aware of a rule that applies, which would require me to notify the chairperson if there's a rule violation.
So I can't get cut off for pushing a button, pretty much. That's all. I just want to make sure that that's what the case is, because when I got cut off, it was probably because I was talking about some sensitive items. So I just want to make sure that's why I'm not getting
minutes. Strictly because of the 10 minutes.
I would recommend that if we have more discussion on this, we take it to the library.
Well, that's all good. I got what I have to say. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, any more administrative updates? Community happenings, announcements?
Yeah, actually, there is. Let me find it right quick. Touch a Truck Family Safety Fair. It is Saturday, June 8, 10 to 3 at the New York State Power Authority. I don't know how widely it's been distributed, but it's free. They have a raffle for the first 300 kids. I know it's going on rain or shine. So that's this Saturday, New York State Power Authority, 10 to 3.
Also, I just seen posted today that the Niagara Falls Police Department is running a summer carnival. 22nd from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. and that's at the 70th Street Park.
Oh, because it's going to be beforehand, prior to. Okay, so on the 19th of this month, we have our Juneteenth Festival and our flag raising that will be held in front of City Hall. We're encouraging everyone to come out and, participate. That's where, African Americans had received their freedom, and that's what we celebrate on the 19th of June. And so come out. It's going to be a lot of festivities. We're going to have a parade. We're going to have live entertainment at Legends Park. It's going to be a lot of vendors out there. It's going to be a lot of fun, friends, family. So just come and let's enjoy ourselves on that day. Come on, come on.
What time?
And I believe 11, is it? 11 o'clock here at City Hall. And that's on the 19th of this month. Juneteenth Festival.
And Father's Day, actually, the same event will be happening at the NAC to celebrate Juneteenth, I think from 10 to 4. So that'll be that Sunday on Father's Day at the old Niagara Falls High School. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to review and adoption of a legislative agenda. We have, item number 2 of the revised agenda. Since Friday, we reviewed the agenda items, item number 2. Can I get a motion to approve the adopted agenda?
Councilmember Archie? Yes. Councilmember Bax? Yes. Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Council Chairperson.
Yes.
Going in and out. They're all changed, actually. Okay, so the report of licenses issued and collections made in the city clerk's office during the month of April 2024 has been received and filed.
Okay. Moving on to council action items. Okay, action item number 1.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move the council vote to approve the first batch of bids to purchase vacant city parcels pursuant to auction and authorize the mayor to execute all deeds and other documents required to complete the transfer of each parcel to the successful bidder. All as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated May 30th, 2024.
Can I get a second, please?
Second with a question. Yeah, second with a question. I can't hear anything. That's a question. He said second with a question.
Okay. Second,
Here's a
Second,
question.
yeah,
Here's a
second
question.
question.
Request for information, yes.
Brian seconded. Any other question?
Do we know, I know this is the first batch of bids, but like, do we know the ratio out of town versus in-town buyers? Or people that have put forth bids for property?
Listed here.
I'm not aware of the ratio, and looking at the attachment, the purchaser names doesn't give any indication whether people are local or not.
Oh, no, there's a city. It says city in terms of where they are, and so my question just really leans towards, you know, how much we control the land that we live in, and I just would hope as we move forward, we try to centralize our auction for the people that are here to gain some sort of wealth for themselves instead of us auctioning out. And what seems to happen within the next 5 years or so is we'll be chasing these people down for taxes and code violations and all this other, well, maybe not that, but at least taxes. to get them to pay. So if we could work on that, that would be great.
I understand your sentiment and your concern. The issue is that when you have an auction, it's open to everybody, and that's to get the highest bidder. Thank you for pointing out, by the way, column 3, which lists the city, and that clearly is the city of the successful bidder. I mean, at least on this, in this batch, there's a fairly good mix of a lot of Niagara County represented here. I haven't counted up all the ones from Niagara Falls, but there's a sizable number from Niagara Falls, and then some from parts outside of Niagara County. But there's no way to exclude them from participating in a public auction. If you excluded them, it would not be a public auction. And then we would have trouble with the state controller, because the state wants the city to sell the property at the highest possible price, to try to get the highest possible price, and they would probably frown on restricting the pool of potential bidders.
So is it possible to create a program that could really enhance the idea and the opportunity of first home owners and buyers of those who live here? So not necessarily put it inside of the auction like we were about to do with number 2, give 14 properties to Pinnacle for $1,000 a piece. Is there a way that we could create something for the people that live here? I think that's probably what he's asking. Is there a way? Okay, it's an auction. So instead of us selling all of our property to everybody that don't live here, how about we create a program that specifically deals with the people who actually wants to own homes, so our children with all of this talent don't leave when they get out of high school? Right.
That sounds like an excellent subject that the council, if it was their desire, could work on proposing some legislation. I have jogged my memory that there was a preference given to city residents if the vacant property that they were bidding on is directly adjacent to their property. But otherwise, if there was no bidder, if there was no qualified adjoining bidder, then it became open to the public at large. So there was an attempt to give some preference to the people living next door to a long-term vacant city property, so they had a chance, first dibs, so to speak, to make an offer on it.
Okay, let us know.
Councilmember Archie? Yes. Councilmember Bags?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac?
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry?
Yes.
5 yeas.
Okay, motion adopted. Right on to legislative item number 3. I have a motion, please.
Yes, I move the council vote to approve the appliance base of the cabinet and countertop replacement project for the 10th Street, 72nd Street, and Ontario Ave firehouses using $4,752.92 of ARPA funds, and authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Home Depot as more fully outlined in his recommendation memo dated May 30th, 2024.
May I have a second, please? Any information requests? Any opposition? Okay, let's call the roll, please.
Councilmember Archie? Yes. Councilmember Bags?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac?
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry?
Yes.
5 yeas.
Motion adopted. Moving on to item number 4.
grandstand fee for the Juneteenth Festival that the NAC will be sponsoring on Sunday, June 16th, 2024, as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated May 30th, 2024.
Any opposition?
For that's something that kind of like stuck out to me. Because Juneteenth is actually on the 19th, and I'm kind of having a tough time finding out why, or wondering why we're having being that we're already going to have a whole flag raising festival, parade and all of the festivities 2 or 3 days afterwards. Why are we? Why is another June? Because it's a level of separation. You know what I mean? I don't believe in that. I believe like if we're going to do something, we should all do it together. I don't want to water down Juneteenth. That was the 19th was the day that we celebrated. I feel like, and this is the 19th is the annual. This is the 5th annual Juneteenth that's taking place. I have an issue. It feels like it creates nothing but separatism. It segregates us again. I don't understand the reason why. I'm not going to water down, the date. And it's Father's Day. I'm going to be at church with my dad, and I'm going to be going out to eat with him. I'm not going to be hanging out doing Juneteenth stuff when it's not Juneteenth. So I don't feel like, and especially, and I'm a black man, so I have that right to, understand that because it deals directly with my culture. So I'm definitely not voting yes for this.
I can answer your question if you like.
Oh, that wasn't a question. That was a statement. Yeah. No, I wasn't. I didn't ask you. No. It wasn't. You asked me, was there any opposition? I said yes. I gave my reason. I didn't ask for a question. Is that fair? Is that fair? Okay, yeah, that's opposition. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate you. Father's Day. It's Father's Day.
It should be the whole weekend.
Listen.
Friday all the way to Sunday.
It should be all summer in that case.
But if you go back historically, the Black Experience was at the convention center. And it was on a weekend, over a whole weekend. And it didn't matter if it was the 19th. It didn't matter if it was the 19th. It didn't matter if it was the 19th. So celebration from any organization, is just celebrating the culture. Like I have no fight.
But Father's Day, let's be honest, Father's Day don't get any shine anyway, and so therefore we're gonna cover up Father's Day with Juneteenth, which is not the day that we celebrate. All right, that's it. That was my only. I'm still not voting yes, but that's. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman.
Sir, take a seat. Sir,
I'm going to say something. Stop telling people to calm down.
Sir, take a seat.
No.
Take a seat or I have you removed.
Sir, calm down. Ain't nobody proud up in here.
Sir, I'm going to one more time. Take a seat.
Calm down.
Sir, take a seat or I have you removed.
I know that. So strike two, right?
This,
Yes.
Councilmember Bags.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
No.
Councilmember Zajac.
Yes.
Council Chair Perry.
yes,
48, 1 day.
motion's adopted.
Make sure you have water and bathrooms out there for the people.
Officer, would you remove this gentleman, please?
Oh, wow. For what? I'm going to tell you right now.
Officer.
I want that basketball court at Hyde Park, and I want that community center rebuilt, and I want that grass cut at the community center right tomorrow. Cut that grass and build that. I want that community rebuilt for $25,000. That's the only reason I want to do
Thank you, officers. Thank you. Okay, then we'll look at motion of the night. Okay. Item number 5. May I have a motion, please?
I move that council vote to approve and certify the base percentages, and current base proportions for homestead and non-homestead assessment roll to remain in compliance with Section 1903 of the real property tax law as more fully specified in the joint supporting memo of the mayor and city assessor dated June 5th, 2024.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Information request? Any opposition? Okay, call roll, please.
Yes.
Councilmember Bax?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Councilmember Zager?
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry?
Yes.
5 yeas.
The motion is adopted. Legislation, item number 6. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move the council vote to approve the submission of a home rule message to the New York State Legislature seeking the alienation, aka abandonment, of the city's quarter parks so that the underlying property may become eligible for transfer in support of economic development, all as more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated May 30th, 2024.
May I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Information request?
Is there a plan submitted for the development they're talking about? Like is this an extension to, do we know if it's an extension to their hotel footprint? Do we know what the development is?
My understanding is that they own adjacent property to the park, and if this goes through, if it receives council's okay tonight, it then has to get the legislature, the New York State Legislature's approval. So there's a lot of unknowns here, whether that's going to occur. If everything is approved right through the state legislature, it's their plan to develop the property. I don't know that it's going to be tied into their Courtyard Marriott Hotel or whether it's going to be a different standalone development. But they have the idea of turning into a taxable tourist, if not a hotel, some other accommodation for visitors.
Mr. Du Bois, before that even could occur, and if the state legislature approves this moving forward, the sale of that property would still have to come back to us to approve that. Would that be correct?
That is correct. You're only asking the state legislature to give you permission to abandon the park. And my understanding is that if the legislature approves that, there will be strings attached. Oftentimes, when the legislature says you may do that, the string attached is that the developer has to find a parcel of equal size to replace the park that's being abandoned so that it can be gifted to the city as a park space. Now there's not necessarily a requirement that it has to be a standalone park. It could be adjacent property to an existing park, expanding the park by the same size as the parcel abandoned. But yes, if everything goes well, this would have to come back to council at a future date with the mayor's request that you approve the sale of the property to Rupel Corporation. And so if there was not enough votes to make that happen at that time, then the deal would die. This may get no further if the state legislature doesn't approve it. So there's a lot of variables.
Thank you.
The type of plans that are drawn out as to what they possibly want to do with the park?
I
I have not seen any full drawings, and I wouldn't imagine that they would spend the money on full drawings until they knew that the parcel was actually going to be available to them. It's a lot of money to give an architect to say here's 2 or 3 parcels and build us something, multi-story development. It would be quite a bit of money up front for those plans. And all through that process, they would have to be speaking to our planning department and our codes department, making sure that the zoning is correct. And then if they went into construction, they'll be talking to codes to get permits. So they would be supervised through the entire process.
Yeah. It still feels weird, right? I'm just looking at how we literally just got rid of the Robert Moses and opened up the space, the green space. And, this is prime real estate that they want to put up to obstruct, is what I feel like. When it could be better served if we were able to find some monies for it to turn it around and make it a part of the people's experience as they move about our downtown area. Yeah, I'm not necessarily a question, but just I don't.
The parcel itself, and I've looked at it at an aerial map. The parcel itself that the park occupies, at one time, it extended right to the river's edge. When the Robert Moses Parkway was installed, that park lost its connection to the water's edge. It's been landlocked, and if you go there today, it's landlocked by the existing, we don't call it the Robert Moses Parkway anymore, but there are 2 highway lanes in each direction. It's called something else now, but there's no access from that park. It would be dangerous for someone to leave the park and try to head south towards the river. They would have to cross 2 lanes of highway, climb over guardrails. It's landlocked as it is, and it has no water access currently, and it never will. It's not like the Greenway project that the state park system created from the American Falls out to Whirlpool State Park, where you have that beautiful on the gorge pathway. Now, I will point this out. We still have a city-maintained bike and hiking path, though, along that river between Robert Moses and the shoreline, and that remains open. It's on Power Authority property, but the city maintains it, and that's going to be there. That will continue to be there, no matter what RUPL does. They're separated by that highway.
Just for clarity also, in the event this goes through, which we haven't gone through a long process, I had people that asked me, what's going to happen in Canton, which has historical value, and the Canton remains city property, and could be moved to another location, such as Hyde Park or some other place, if this whole process goes through.
That's correct. The cannon is the city's property, and it would not be gifted to RUPL. They have no use for it. It apparently does have historical value, and I'm sure that the DPW, the director of DPW, is also the director of parks. I'm sure that that director, in conjunction with other administrators, would talk about relocating that cannon to an appropriate park or some other location, because it does have historical value.
Okay, Liz? Oh, I'm sorry, any opposition? Okay, Liz, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Archie?
No.
Councilmember Bax?
With more layers to go through in the process, yes.
Councilmember Miles?
With the idea of, a multi-million-dollar business not having a plan but wanting to buy this land. I think a plan is always needed, so no.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry.
Yes.
3 yeas, 2 nays.
Motion adopted. Okay, legislative item number 7. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move the council vote to approve the contract award for bid number 2024-05 for Materials LLC to provide concrete to the city's DPW for purchase, all is more fully outlined in the mayor's recommendation memo dated May 30th, 2024.
May I have a second, please? Information request? Opposition? Okay, Liz?
Councilmember Archie. Yes. Councilmember Bass.
Yes.
Councilmember Martins.
Yeah.
Councilmember Zajac,
Jack.
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry.
Yes.
5 yeas.
Okay, motion adopted. Resolution number 8. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move the council vote to approve the resolution relative to the reappointment of Ronald Lang to the city's Civil Service Commission.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any information request? Okay, any opposition? And those, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Archie,
Yes.
Councilmember Bass,
Yes.
Councilmember Miles,
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry.
Yes.
5 yeas.
5 days, motion adopted. Resolution number 9. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, I move the council vote to approve the resolution relative to the appointment of a new member, Matthew Swerzik, to the City Planning Board to fill a vacancy created by resignation.
May I have a second, please? Okay, any information request? And opposition? Okay, Liz?
Councilmember Archie.
Yes.
Councilmember Bass.
Yes.
Councilmember Miles.
Yes.
Councilmember Zajac,
Yes.
Council Chairperson Perry.
Yes.
5 yeas.
5 days, motion adopted. That concludes our legislative portion of the meeting. Next, we're going to move on to the good of the community. Just a reminder, as adopted by City Council protocol, members of the public are permitted to speak on concerns of the welfare of the city, not to exceed 5 minutes. There's a list of items on the back of your agenda that your speech must fall under. And the chairperson, I must enforce these rules. Liz, would you please call the first speaker?
Gap.
Janine,
Janine is back. Okay. During my time off, I kind of enjoyed myself sitting, watching everybody swear at you guys, call you guys names, cameras, fighting, but nobody was told they weren't allowed to speak anymore. People thrown out. I banged the podium and threw my book in the seat, and I was told I couldn't speak for a month. So I kind of wonder, could I not speak because of the topic that I speak about since the last week of December? Because wow. Then I come 2 weeks ago, and we have a lady come up here, call me names. I was sitting right there. She was calling me a name. So I had a lady behind me, which I found out who she's related to. I congratulated Mr. Miles for getting married, and I was told I was out of order by her and heckling me. I have a lady here heckling me, harassing me. So I looked at the list of people. I had a lady, the same lady with the cane, tell me to step outside and she was going to beat my ass. And then the girl next to her said, no, you have the wrong person. And she pointed to Tanya. And now she's harassing me and harassing the people here. And come to find out, I did my homework, even though that same person in the back there that's yelling, who's related, which I guess I'm not allowed to say names, but to somebody up there, who's not related. But if you go on Facebook, they're all friends. And they're all friends of somebody that told me that I was not allowed to speak because I was out of order. Wow. So you send hecklers in here to harass me the whole time that I'm not allowed to speak. That's kind of not fair. And I'm not pointing out names to anybody, but it's not fair. I mean, all of a sudden they're here telling me go back to Erie County. Well, our dog shelter's in Erie County. The person that runs it's in Erie County. At least I own a property in Niagara County. It's not like, I could get, and again, I can't say names, but people, I've done my homework. I actually went to other council meetings just to see how their meetings went because this is new to me. My social studies teacher would be so proud that I'm even here, okay, because he couldn't even get me to sit down, okay? But I went to other ones, and they're so professional. They don't have somebody, an attorney or anybody sitting there. It's almost intimidating here for you guys to stick up for the people. You're scolded. And just for the record, and I'm not sure, but I think Mr. Tom is here for all of you. I don't think he represents just Mr. Perry. I think he represents all of you, and he should, all of you. He doesn't have to direct just at Mr. Perry. For you, and you, he should be here for. But people ran here to be up there. You ran up there, someone, I can't say names, ran to make Niagara Falls a great city. That person said they wanted to be up there to make Niagara Falls a great city. Wow. Then we have, this was the classic one. Someone ran up there, how to best use cities' American Resource Plan funding. But all's yes, 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 to everything to take that money away from them. But I can't say names. Who quoted, that's what he wanted to be up there for. That's a lie. Throwing it out there. You could smile. You could smile. If I got a DWI or anything, I'm sure I wouldn't have an easy road. Cannot have.
I honestly don't understand.
You called yourself out.
Ms. Gallo.
I didn't call anybody.
My apologies. Proceed, Ms.
Thank
Gallo.
you. Sorry. Okay. I've been heckled on a web podcast, whatever it's called, that one of you up there sit on every week. Why didn't I buy a dog shelter in Niagara Falls? I would have loved to buy property and open a dog shelter in Niagara Falls, but it's against your code. You can't. So it's not like I didn't try. You just can't. I wouldn't have gotten approved for it in Niagara Falls, so I'm 40 seconds away from you. 40 seconds. I'm in Niagara County, and there is other shelters that are going to be needed in Niagara County. In fact, I can't say this mayor, I can't say from where, but a mayor said he would love to have other things, other Niagara County shelters.
Good evening. As you might recall, in the beginning, before the meeting started, I handed each one of you a manila envelope with your name on it. Just so we're clear what that envelope has in it, it's an affidavit, signed, notarized. An affidavit of facts and trespass by the Niagara Falls City Council. It's a notice to agent is notice to principal, and notice to principal is notice to agent. Maybe you don't know what that means. But it has several claims on here. Me being the affiant, one of the people of New York, as seen in the New York Constitution, sui juris, in this court of record, makes the following claims that you and your agents may provide due care and regard. You think that you have political power. It's not true. We, the people, have the political power, and you are the servants to serve the people. I did not give up my private rights or any constitutional rights. Someone up there says that speaking at public meetings is a privilege. It is. But it is also not the right of anyone up there to silence the public when they are speaking, no matter the topic, even if you don't like what the person is saying. Public servants in New York are required to sign an oath of office and allegiance to uphold the state and federal constitutions. On April 24th, during a public meeting held by the Niagara Falls City Council, I was publicly told my speaking privileges would be suspended under the good of the community designation until June 4th. Someone said, public speaking at City Council is not a privilege, it's not a right, and it's not covered under any law during that meeting. Liberty includes the freedom of speech, the right of the people to assemble and to petition the government, and to redress our grievances. These are rights that are secured under our Constitution. To threaten the public with police to remove people and to silence people seems as very threatening so that people won't talk. I think that I have the right to be upset and angry when my name is called out, but yet we can't call any of you out. Even though you have dozen or more people show up, and another person in this community named Sam Archie knew about it the day before on his podcast and announced it, that people were going to be here to cause a problem, not his exact words, but then we found out who that was. I was threatened to be taken out to the parking lot by a certain person up there that sits in the middle and beat my you-know-what, and I was called an a-hole to my face as I was exiting this room. And then a certain person's wife that sits up in the middle came up to me to introduce herself because I kept wondering who she was. She sat purposely beside us so she could make comments, tell us to be quiet, heckle us, and laugh. Very, very unprofessional. Now, what I'm going to ask in my last 50 seconds is that Mr. Perry remove himself from this office as a public servant and give me a public apology because you, Mr. Perry, broke your oath of office. And I'm not going to say it no more, but I will be the example. I will be the example, and that's fine because that's okay with me. I'll be the example of being silenced. And I'm okay with that because we're going to move forward, and you probably won't be sitting in that seat pretty soon.
Our next speaker is Vincent Colley.
Good evening again. I mean, we definitely don't going back to the earlier agenda item, we don't even need architectural drawings, but we had a presentation here that was a PowerPoint. Here's what we plan on doing with the park. That's all I asked for, just transparency. How much better would we be if other vendors would say, hey, Vince, hey, Niagara Falls, this is what we want to do. We put up a presentation, boom, boom, boom. Transparency, accountability just goes a long way in terms of building that relationship and wanting to do business in Niagara Falls. I think that makes sense. So give it up for them that did that presentation for us. Now, I'm not up here to stump. I'm not stumping. I don't need to come here to stump. I can stump anywhere. I'm coming here because it's about building this community and making it better. Number one, do we have a plan or a timeline for what's going on at Hyde Park? I mean, speaking of outside vendors, how about we get a presentation from our own administration and say, hey, here's what we plan on doing. We plan on going to the zoning board. Are we going to the zoning board to get Hyde Park zoned to have an animal shelter? I believe we should, just like we did the NU deal. I believe the city should be going to the zoning board, to the planning board to get it zoned so we can have a shelter, number one, and then it comes back to the city council to okay. Is that just rubber stamped already? Do we know the process of that? Is there a time frame, a timeline? How is it going to look? What's going to be the services there? We just had a presentation from someone who's able, willing, and ready to go. All we have to do is pay them a fee, not get into the business of animal shelters like I said the last time. Hey, here's a fee. Can you please do our services? Cats, dogs, rats, and who knows what else they can do? Who else knows? That's being funny, but no rats. I know we got a lot of rat. I know we got a rat problem here. But they're ready, willing, and able. We pay them a fee, boom, done. How simple is that? Don't have to worry about a building. Don't have to worry about $13,000 for what? Drawings? Don't have money wasted. We could be using that ARP funds for something else. Number two, 3 projects that spent millions and millions of dollars on. Maybe someone knows. I don't know. I'm not clueless. That's projection. But here's things I just don't know. What's going on with the STEM project? What's going on with the academic hub? What's going on with the Trek Center? 3 projects totaling $10, $20, $30 million right here in the city. What's an update? I don't know. Not making any accusations. What's an update? Just want to make the city better. And lastly, have we got an explanation of why are we buying Blue Cardinals debt? Explanation. We're in debt enough. We want to develop Main Street. I heard from good sources that the city was offered over $1.5 million for the land. And I heard we told them no. I would love to get some accountability and transparency on that. I don't know. I could be corrected. I'll be the first one to admit if I'm wrong on anything I ever say here. I'll be the first one to admit I'm wrong, but I'm just asking questions because to me, instead of turning down money, we're buying debt. If we are going to do that, okay, and then what? Okay, and then what? Okay, here's why we're doing this. It would be great to see that. Thank you.
Good evening. I just want to say hello to everyone at the council because I've had a personal relationship with everyone except for Mr. Zajac, but I pass your family's funeral home on the way home every day, so I feel like we have a certain connection. So I just wanted to speak on the fact of this city having 2 Juneteenth festivals and the confusion that it has caused. The NAC recently received $800,000 for something that they're probably not going to do anything with, as they still got the same bathrooms that people like 60 years old was pissing in when they went to that school. They still got the same chairs. But anyway, this ain't about the NAC. This is about solidarity and unity in our community. And this is about the confusion that has been created and it has actually caused me to lose funding for my Juneteenth, which cost $12,000 to do last year, plus the $2,000 that Jeffrey Elder stole from me, and he's working with the NAC now. And these are accusations that I have filed complaints with Letitia James, so it's not that I'm just in here gossiping. This is factual, and you can check that out. I've also tried to work with the underground and do this, and I don't understand how. And now I'm just making y'all aware. I know y'all have no control over this, but what I'm trying to bring up is the fact that the reason Juneteenth was started was because on the sweat of Black Americans at that time, they had been exploited. They were working for free and doing free labor. And so somebody said, we got to treat these people like people. And you know, and it's just sad that in this city, the dogs seem like they get more respect than the black people. Because y'all building a whole facility. I haven't seen a stray dog since I've been here. And I've been here for 10 years. But we can't get a rec center that we desperately need for the two-legged animals. But the four-legged animals seem to be, and I'm not knocking the young lady who came up here and did that. I think it's a beautiful idea. But I'm just saying, in fairness, we're not addressing the problems and the needs of the people. And when I lose money and I can't get funding because people are confused, like, for example, I can't get the Niagara Falls fire truck to come to my parade because they were addressed by City Hall to be in the parade for the NAC when this is my third year doing a parade. I have those flags that are in there were bought by me, put in a case by me, and the certificates were created by me. And I have the proclamation from the city. So I don't even understand, like, if I came in here and I tried to have a Memorial Day parade, there's no way in hell that anybody would let me do that against Ken Tompkins, because he's been doing that all of these years. If I came in here and tried to have a July 4th parade or a St. Patrick's Day parade, right, which we know that the city was founded on St. Patrick's Day, and I would be in my right as a citizen of this city, but I wouldn't dare disrespect the Irish people. So what's happening now, because it became a federal holiday and people have found a way to get funding, this is the same black exploitation, the reason why they had to say, you got to let these slaves go free and start working and getting paid. Because this is, now that it's a federal holiday and people are seeking funding, they're doing it. This is why this is only their second one. This is the 6th time. It's the 5th annual for the flag raising, but prior to that, I did a whole Freedom Day at the Underground Railroad because I knew that the community needed this. This was not about the money. I've been putting money out of my own pocket. Last year was the only year that I even got some money ever for the Juneteenth. And so now I'm having money taken out of my pocket because we got 2 parades and we got 2 people calling themselves a fest. That's not a festival. That's a freaking Juneteenth party. I have the festival with a flag raising, a parade, leading to a whole event. All right, and I'm not blaming y'all. I got 5 seconds. I'm not blaming y'all. I'm just making y'all aware. So moving forward, hopefully we can do something about this. Thank you.
Hey, how everyone doing today? So I want to speak first about you guys shutting down businesses. You shutting down businesses, but you're not cleaning up parks. It brings to my attention that I still see feces on the park. That it makes me upset because I've spoken about this and no one done anything. It's parks with backboards that's broken. That doesn't make any sense to me. And secondly, I see people selling dope on the corner when I'm running by a school. That's by a resource center. But you guys are shutting down businesses, but you're not doing nothing about the corner boys on the block. what's really going on with the city. Different things like that, as well as is grass not being cut. It's a lot of things that's going on, but you worried about businesses, black businesses being shut down, but you're not worried about these things that's going on and different things like that. So I'm confused. Are we really trying to bring unity? And then we in here right now, we're arguing with each other. We are a family. We say we pray to God, but we're not acting like it. We not acting like it. I see side conversations going on up here as far as for our councilmen. So what example are y'all setting for the community? Y'all say y'all for the community. Are y'all really for the community? Act as one, as a unit, so we can grow together. And as far as Juneteenth, why is it two separate Juneteenths? That doesn't make any sense. Make everyone come together. Y'all are the councilmen. Y'all could do something about this. So it is y'all fault. We're not going to keep saying it's not y'all fault. We put y'all in place for these things. Y'all vote for things. I see y'all up here, motion. I'm student trustee of SUNY Niagara, so I know how things go. You guys can change it. You're just not trying to change it. Change it. Stop all this racism stuff or whatever we got going on. It's not about that. It's about bringing each other together as one. We are a family. Act like it. I'm done. You guys have a good day.
Okay, hold on. So the next speaker.
Okay. Sorry, guys. All right, the next speaker, Renee Huddick. Please, I apologize for
So I don't know, I feel like these are a lot of hard acts to follow, and I don't even know if I should even be bringing this up here or not, but good evening, honorable council members. I'm actually calling about the paving on my street. If I shouldn't continue with this, please let me know. I'm here to request that our dead-end street be paved. It is off of Lindbergh Avenue in 88th Street, and years ago they paved Lindbergh down to Frontier Avenue, okay, and never touched our dead-end street. I came home on June 17th to find, 2020 this was, to find 22, not one, not two, but three, 22 patch holes from the front of my house to my driveway. That is, I feel, unacceptable. Some of these holes were so bad that neighbors and myself and my husband have been filling them because when people, our guests, are getting out of their cars, their feet were falling in to these holes. All right, so we had been patching them. They never come down our street to plow. I always have to call. They never come down our street with the street cleaner. I always have to call to have them come back. Back in 2005, I started calling about this street, called about my tree, always falling on deaf ears or blind eyes. I mean, I got a petition of all of our neighbors. There are 14 of us that are affected by this street, okay? When you go, let's do a visual real quickly, from the end of Mr. Zajak's desk to the end of Mr. Miles, they paved from Lindbergh to Pershing. From the beginning of Mr. Perry's desk to the end of Mr. Perry's desk, They paved from Pershing to Munson. From the beginning of Mrs. Bax's desk to the end of Mr. Archie's, they paved from Maine all the way down to Frontier. You can see that very clearly in the picture. But they hesitated to do just my little dead-end street. There are 14 houses from Lindbergh to Frontier that are on 88th Street. That's 14 taxpayers. There are 14 names on here that are affected just on the dead end, and it's not a big street. There are only houses on 88th Street facing, okay, the garages of the people that live on 87th Street. Honestly, my parents bought this house in 1956. My parents are deceased. I purchased my brother's shares from the house, so I've been living in that neighborhood since I was born. I only remember that street being paved one time, okay? And I think it's unfair for us, the taxpayers, okay, to just go unseen and unheard for years and years. Now, I've done everything everybody told me to do, all right? I did where you're supposed to go on to the site and put your complaint in there. I've done that. The girl I was on the phone with at the beginning of the week, she said, well, why don't you try going to a council meeting? So that's why I'm here tonight. Something just needs to be done. It's unfair, and I know they're gonna be in the area paving. I'm hoping that they can just make a cute little turn and do that. And I just wanna add real quickly that the way things work, and it's such an oxymoron sometimes what's done in this city, but they came and cut down a tree. My father, for 17 years, tried to get this sidewalk fixed. 17 years. I think after 23 years, they came and finally fixed the sidewalk. Do you know, 2 months later, they came and took down the dead tree that he was after? When they took down the dead tree, it cracked the brand new sidewalk. Now, what an oxymoron is that? Okay, we take care of our property, all of our neighbors. This is one of my neighbors here. She's originally from the neighborhood too. I mean, we all take care of our properties, but the city is not taking care of us. So I'm hoping that I can open some eyes here so somebody will come down and take a look at what I'm talking. I also had a problem with my tree. We had to hire somebody personally to take down the limbs from a tree that's on city property. And when it does fall, all those power lines and everything are gonna come down with it. But again, that's all. Sorry, thank you.
The next issue.
Good evening, council members. As the young lady pointed out, Tanya had pointed out, you all were voted into this position, and you all vowed to make this city a better city. But I don't understand why a simple thing as far as like a citywide curfew has never been in effect. You know, that would cut down on the car break-ins. Make parents responsible for the kids. You know, especially during the summer months. These kids just run and break into things, and so can we have a citywide curfew? That's it. Thank you.
Speaker is Virgil Harris.
Good evening. I was born in Niagara Falls, and so they say. But anyway, why is it that mental health issues and the state and I've been chemically dependent, so they say, for a long, long time, and I'm not getting no help here. And I was in Rochester for the last 3 years. I ain't getting no help there. I'm back here, and I'm homeless, but I got money. I always had money. I mean, I got married like a damn fool, and my wife, but I ain't gonna say it, because they might arrest me if I say chicken hawk. But anyway, I'm supposed to get Xanax and Seroquel and Depakote and Prolixin, and I get a shot, supposed to get a shot every 90 days, or they come looking for me, because I'm not suicidal, but I could be the other way. I don't know, homicidal, but I don't bother nobody, but everybody hate me. My own family hate me, but you're Perry. I'm related to the Perrys. You know Tyler? Anyway, and Tracy. But I'm just wondering, my name is, I've been back in Niagara Falls for 37 days. And my birthday is in 16, the first day of summer. I'll be 61 years old. But if I had all the surgeries I'm supposed to have, I'd be in a body cast for 2 years, like Mason Storm. But anyway, the mental health is real. Simone Biles, the greatest gymnast of all time, had mental health. Tiger Woods got beat up with a golf club by his ex-wife. And Virgil Harris, I ain't killed nobody. I don't think. But what? Could anybody give me any ideas on how to get my medication and get my money so I can get me an apartment? And I qualify for Freedom Care, where nurses, and I would like to know about funding the gospel mission for the kids, and on Juneteenth for my great nephew Trent Hamilton, and we want to have all the kids have a safe environment to play with, and have a loving community, because we are all to raise kids. It takes a village, and guess what? I'm the village idiot, and with that, I'm clear.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Lawrence Labor Jr.
Evening all, I'm going to move rather fast. I had one thing to say, but watching you guys operate today, two more things added. One, regarding your housing point, Mr. Miles, any one of you guys, you have my email, you can email me after. I've long held an idea that uses their current federal infrastructure to help provide housing for people. I know I'm not TMT Montante or whoever that Coldwell Banker guy is that you guys love to use and box out other realtors, but come find me. That's one. Two, you guys need a parliamentarian. You have the option of having a parliamentarian. He will handle Robert's rules. It will then remove the pressure on Mr. Du Bois, because he's constantly flown back from lawyer to parliamentarian, and then that's what causes the conflict. And with all due respect, Chairman, because of your lack of knowledge of Robert's rules, it also makes you look weaker as the leader of this group. So I recommend you do that. Now, the way you could do that is you would normally get a retired member of council like a Mr. Spanbauer or somebody like that. It can be a paid position or volunteer position, and they would be able to operate within that, and then Mr. Du Bois can just focus on legal matters. Or I better recommend you contact Niagara University, because their student life director has to spend all the time teaching the young college kids how Robert's rules work, so he might be a good fit if his schedule allows. So that's the other thing. Now, what I came up here to talk about was the dog shelter, because the thing that's on my mind about it is the scene from the show Succession, where the dad tells the son, I love you, but these people that you're running with are not serious people. That's how I feel right now. I voted for you, Mr. Mayor, but your team, they're not serious people. Like, 13K should not be just for one property. You should have multiple properties to look at and have an option. Because if you're going to run this really right politically, you should have had the forum, picked out 3-4 properties, and then go with the one you wanted to, and then say, well, for this and that reason, cost, we're going to use an existing city infrastructure, but you give people the opportunity to feel like they've said something. Then the MTA in New York City does this all the time when they're raising rates for the token. They hold a meeting, people yell and scream. They say, okay, we won't do 50 cents, we'll do 25 cents. Then a year later, they do another 25 cents. So they get their 50 cents regardless, but the people feel a little bit involved. But that's if you actually are led by people and have a team of people who don't just see the instinctive move and see the whole chessboard and see how other moves can be made. So there's that. And that brings me to the fact that he's talked about there's a 26th Street issue and how that's affecting budget. But what is the job of the money people, of the accounting team? I mean, I could recommend accountants. My friend's company had to lay off a couple recently for budget cuts. I mean, I tell every landlord, put 10% aside for repair and maintenance. Do we not have that? Is that not in our thing? I don't understand, because our budgeting should accompany that. And if we can't facilitate and understand the responsibility of the landlord, how are we going to buy a property, renovate it, lease it out? Because once you lease it out, you're fully responsible now for all issues. Water not working, gate not working, and if the gate's not working because we're having trouble maintaining something as simple as a park, if the gate's not working and a dog gets out and bites somebody, now we're talking legal liability. We have not shown the capacity to handle the legal liability of such a situation. And that's not me talking bad about the mayor or anybody on his team on a personal level. I'm just going on track record. You know, you are your record. If, I keep saying it because this is Bill's country, if Sean McDermott went 3-13, he can say, well, we're still a good team. No, he's out the door. Results matter. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, I was born in this city, and I lived here for like 21 years. But now we live out in Wheatfield, but there's still properties, tenant properties. And what brought me to City Hall the other day, what's today, Thursday? Wednesday. And so I followed the rules down there. I got in the handicap parker, and I followed the rules, and it said ring. And security will come. I rang, and about 5 minutes later, I rang again, and I had to do it 4 times. Finally, the security guy came, I guess he was, with an orange shirt on and suspenders, and he let me in. So I go upstairs to pay this stupid tax. I don't know what moron came up with this license tax that every landlord has to pay a license to rent an apartment. You know, it was only $65, but they didn't even have petty cash upstairs. The girl bitched me out. How'd you get in? And I told her. And I said, who was the brainstorm idea was that? Oh, it's the mayor, because somebody tried to get in his office. I said, you mean nobody can come to City Hall? Well, you can go upstairs here or whatever. I said, well, I walked it up to get here because that was probably shut, and I'd probably get the same guy. But this is supposed to be the hub, the home of the city, and you can't even get in the goddamn place to pay this license or your taxes. I think that's ridiculous. Well, that's the start of what happened. Okay, so then it multiplied, and I ran into, and I had this garbage. We have a tenant that died, okay, so you can't, but the city paid for this guy. He was mentally retarded, challenged, or whatever, and he was dead. Well, they called us at 11:30, said this guy died, the girl downstairs and the parents. I said, well, the landlord doesn't come. Call the coroner and the police. We don't take out dead bodies. Well, this guy trashed it. I mean, really bad. And the city pays for these people to live there, but nobody comes around and checks them. It's supposed to be a HUD, you know, kind of thing. So that came to the garbage. So then they tell us, oh, we can only put out that black can that we have to pay $161 for and 3 bags. Well, it would take us 2 years to get rid of all this shit. So they said, oh, you can take it down to, or get a dumpster. Well, a dumpster won't even fit in front of the house on 80th Street. So my husband goes, oh, I found this guy who'll clean it out for $650. Well, while I was working all day today on this, I ran across this guy, and he's the Jim Bird. That guy should run for governor. He is so smart. He probably knows where everybody lives. But he was a great guy, and he helped me. Because in the phone book and online, if you ask Google, where's the garbage dump in Niagara Falls? They don't know. Well, he gave me the Department of Waste on New Road. Well, for 25 bucks, if we had a dump trailer, we could have loaded all the stuff and took it there. Okay, so if 100 people did that for $25, that would be what, 250,000? That would be cheaper than paying for those totes. I grew up in the country. We never even had a garbage truck come until 1973. And, you know, and I'm 69 years old. I still can't find anybody old enough to tell me what city slickers did with their garbage, because they definitely couldn't have burned it in their backyard. These houses are so close, they'd burn the whole block down. You know, so I don't know. Everybody probably thinks I'm an old bitch. I'm old, but I'm not a bitch. I voted for 52 years, and that was my ticket to bitch. You know, I want to ask how many people raise their hand in here that voted. You know, there's only like 27,000 people that voted, I think, in Niagara County, something like that, or it's not a lot. You know, a lot of people that bitch in the supermarkets and stuff. But I just want to know why this mayor thinks that has to lock up the house. You know, there's security they set up there. Well, in that part downstairs, can't they take care of both doors? Open the damn thing. The people that use it are handicapped. You have enough trouble getting the button, you know, for the door to open up. And then about this, what do you call it, eviction stuff. Now, I asked this Jim Bird. He's the assessor. And he said, call around. So I called Newfane, and I called where I live in Wheatfield. And you don't need no damn lawyer out there. All you have to do is, they said there's a booklet, and you fill out the paper. Well, here in Niagara Falls, you got to have a lawyer. We've spent thousands of dollars. Is that true?
I'm sorry, your time is up.
Oh, time's up, okay.
Thank you, Ms. Sharon.
Okay,